Hey everybody, welcome back. In this video I'm going to show you how to play the outro guitar solo from the classic Toto song, Rosanna. Now this is one of my favorite outro guitar solos of the 1980s, and part of the reason is the fact that this solo just seems to come out of nowhere at the end of the song. And if you know a little bit about the history here, it actually was a completely improvised jam at the end of the song. The drummer just kept going, so everybody jumped in and added their parts, and this is what we got. Now, if you're a fan of guitarist Steve Lukather's playing, I also have lessons here on my channel on how to play the main guitar solo from Rosanna, along with Hold the Line and the solo from the song Physical. So make sure you check those out. Hit the thumbs up because it does help my videos get a little bit more exposure. Click on that subscribe button so you can catch all of my videos as soon as they're available. And then if you have any questions or comments, leave those down below, and I will attempt to answer them as time allows. Now, if you're interested in the backing track that I'm using or the custom tabs that I've created, there's information in the video description you might want to check out. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play the entire solo again, this time slowly with the tabs on the screen. That way the more advanced players can get through this more quickly. Then after that, for everybody else, we'll break it down note by note. Let's go. Here's section 1 at normal and then slow speed. Let's break it up into two boxes, and in the first we play. So you're going to play 17th fret of the B string, bend up a half a step, bring it back down, pull off to 15, 17 G. Then in the second box we play, so it's 15 of B, hold it for a tiny bit, and then 15 of G with like about a 1/8 of a step up bend, just a very like a micro bend, and then 17 D wide vibrato slide down. Let's tie both of those boxes together and play section 1 one more time, slowly and then at normal speed. Now, before we move on to section 2, I want to call out really quickly that there's a big pause between section 1 and section 2. So if you want to fill that, one thing you can do is replicate the horn part like this. So you're bending up at the 12th fret of the D string, bringing it back down, and then playing the note without bending. All right, let's move on to section 2. Here's section 2 at normal and then slow speed. Let's break it up into two boxes, and in the first we play. So we start here with your volume knob rolled down before you hit the first note. I think what happened is when Steve was recording this and he did that first part, he then quickly went and turned down the volume and then had to raise it for the next part. I'm guessing that's what happened. Or he could have done the volume swell, thing intentionally, like, you know what I mean, as a technique. I don't know, who knows. But either way, it's there. So what you do is you're going to have the volume rolled all the way down. You're going to hit the note, And then as you start to bring the bend up, about 3/4 of a step, you roll the volume up. Okay, and then 12 of high E, and then another bend at the 15th fret of the B string, and then 12 of high E. So far in that first box. And then we're going to play 15th fret of B again, bend up 1.5 steps, wide vibrato. Let's play that first box a couple times slowly. Then in the second box we play slowly. So we start on the 18th fret of the B string, bend up a full step, and then 15 of high E, and then 18, 15 B, so far. And then bend up at 18 of B again, and then 15 of high E. And then 18 of B, one more time, bend up a little bit quicker, wide vibrato. Let's play that second box a few times slowly. All right, let's tie both boxes together and play section 2 one more time, slowly and then at normal speed. All right, let's move on to section 3. Here's section 3 at normal and then slow speed. Let's break it up into 2 boxes, and in the first we play slowly. So you're going to start on the B string, 18, 15, and then 18 of high E, you're going to bend it up 2 steps up and down. So it's from here to here, and then back. And then 15 of high E, 18, 15 B, and then 18 of B up and down 2 steps. And then 15 B, 17 G, 18 B. Let's play that first box a couple times slowly. Then in the second box we play slowly. So this is all on the B string. We're going to play 18th fret, bend up, and then 18 up and down, pull off to 15. And then 18 bend up, and then hit it at the top again. Let's play what we have so far in that second box slowly. And then 18 bend up one more time, wide vibrato, slide down. Let's play that second box a few times slowly. You'll notice that the vibrato is pretty wide there. You're going to find that throughout this solo. Steve Lukather was known for having a very nice wide vibrato, nice controlled wide vibrato. All right, let's tie both boxes together and play section 3 one more time slowly and then at normal speed. Okay, let's move on to section 4. Here is section 4. Let's break it up into 6 boxes, and in the first we play slowly. So you're going to slide from 7 to 19 on G, and then 18B, 17E. And then the second box goes like this, slowly. So on the high E string, 20 pull off to 17, and then 18 pull off to 17. 20B, 17E. Think of it as a grouping of 6 notes, or 3 and 3, like, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's tie the first 2 boxes together slowly. Then in the third box we play. Again, think of it as a grouping of 6, or 3 and 3. So on the B string, 18 pull off to 17, and then 20. 19 of G, palm muted, and then 18 on B, pull off to 17. Let's tie the first 3 boxes together slowly. Now in the fourth box we play. Again, it's a grouping of 6 notes, 3 and 3. Now you might be saying, well, wait a second, that last note you're pulling off to the next note in the 5th box. Yeah, I'm obviously aware of that. The reason I'm breaking it up like this, again, is because of that feeling of, the 6-note groupings. So on this one, it's 19 of G, and then 18B, pull off to 17. Then 19G, 17B, 19G. We'll come to the pull off here in just a second. All right, let's tie the first 4 boxes together slowly. Then in the 5th box we play. So again, you're pulling off from the 19th fret of the G string on that last box in box 4 to the 17th fret. That's how the first note starts. And then 19D, 17G so far. And then 19D, 16G, 18D. You're kind of doing a little start of a chromatic descend there, kind of a jazzy thing. All right, let's tie those first 5 boxes together slowly. Then in the final box we play slowly. Now all of this is going to be on the G string in the final box. We start with 15 wide vibrato and then 17. Then we're going to play 14 of G, but you're kind of hitting the D string at the same time, but muted. Hold it for a tiny bit, hammer to 15, pull off to 14. And then you're going to slide to 12, but as soon as you get there, you're going to hit it. Wide vibrato, slide down. Okay? Let's start with that 14th fret note. Now we'll tie everything together in that last box and play it a few times slowly. Now at the end, if you want, you don't have to pick that note. You can just slide into it if you want. That's how I thought it was being played, and then I listened to the isolated guitar tracks that someone posted on YouTube. You can hear him pick that last note. Either way, you should be fine. All right, we're going to tie all those boxes together and play section 4 one more time slowly and then at normal speed. All right, let's move on to section 5. All right, here's section 5. All right, let's break it up into 2 boxes, and in the first we play. slowly. Now, I've seen this section tabbed a few different ways, and I think one of the challenges in transcribing it is that it's pretty buried in the mix at the very beginning, the first like 6 or so notes. They're very hard to hear. What helped me is finding that isolated guitar track for this song that someone posted on YouTube. I was able to put that in my audio editing software and slow it down, and I could hear every note. But what you're going to do is palm muted. You're going to slide up to the 10th fret of A and then hammer to 12. And then still palm muted 10, hammer to 12 D. Okay, so far. And then 10, hammer to 12 of G. So far. Then on the B string, we'll play 9, slide to 10, 13, pull off to 10. 11, hammer to 13. Let's play what we have so far slowly. Then on the high E string, 9, slide to 10. And then 13, pull off to 12, pull off to 11, pull off to 10. Cool little chromatic jazzy lick there. And then 13, 11, B. Let's play that first box a few times slowly. Then in the second box, we play slowly. All right, so 10 on high E, and then 10 on B, you're going to pre-bend up a half step, then come down. And then 12, 10 G, 11 on B, half step up, and then 12 G wide vibrato, 10 G slide down. So far in that second box, slowly. And then third fret of D, slide up to about 14, back down. All right, let's play that second box a few times slowly. Now, when I do that slide up to 14, the regulars know I get very, very specific here. You can always just feel it. If you don't go up to 14 and you go a little further, a little less, don't worry about it. All right, let's tie both boxes together and play section 5 one more time, slowly and then at normal speed. All right, let's move on to section 6. Here's section 6 at normal and then slow speed. So in the first box, we play slowly. Now you may notice that when I play the first box, the G string notes are picked and the B string notes are plucked with a finger on my picking hand, okay? So we're going to slide up to the 10th fret of G and then 11B, 10G. And then 11B, 10G, 11B, 10G, 11B, 10G. So far, slowly. And then 13B, 10G, 11B, 10G. Now, a lot of people will pick that B string, but if you notice, listen carefully to the original, there's a real good separation of notes there. It's not blending like, right? He's stopping each note after it's played. So plucking really helps facilitate that, like plucking the B string instead of picking it. Let's play that first box a few times slowly. In the second box, we play slowly. So it's 13 of B, bend up a full step, and then 11 of B. Then you play that again. So far. Then 13 of B, 11 of B, quarter step up. 12 G, wide vibrato, slide down. Here's the second box slowly a few times. Now we'll tie both boxes together and play section 6 one more time, slowly and then at normal speed. All right, let's move on to section 7. Here's section 7 at normal and then slow speed. Let's break it up into 3 boxes, and in the first we play. So it's 13 of B, bend it up about 3/4 of a step, and then 10 of high E, and then again. So again, that first box is simply. Now in the second box we play. So what you're doing here is you're basically bending up at the 13th fret of the B string, and then playing 10 of high E. And you're doing that 8 times, okay? Now you'll notice in the tabs that sometimes it's 3/4 of a step up, sometimes it's a full step up. Don't get hung up on that. Again, I listen to every bend very carefully, but it's going to go by so fast. Just do the 13th fret bend followed by the 10 of high E. That's all you need to think about, is just do that 8 times and feel it. Let's tie the first 2 boxes together slowly. Then in the third and final box, we play slowly. So it's 14 on the B string, bend up about 3/4 of a step, and then 11 of high E. And then 14 again, bend up, this time a full step, 11 of high E. And then 15 of B, bend it up 1.5 steps, wide vibrato, slide down. Okay, let's tie all 3 boxes together and play section 7 one more time, slowly and then at normal speed. All right, let's move on to section 8. Here is section 8 at normal and then slow speed. Let's break it up into 3 boxes, and in the first we play. So you're going to bend up at the 18th fret of the B string a full step, and then 15 of high E. And then do it again. The bend is slightly a little bit faster the second time. Then in the second box we play slowly. So we start on the high E string, 18, pull off to 15, and then 18 of B. Then 15 of high E, 18 on B, pull off to 15. So far in the second box. Then you're going to play 17 of G, bend up a full step. And as you're holding it, 15B, 15E, 15B. And then you're going to hit 17 of G and bring it down, pull off to 15. Notice how I tab it, that you're coming down from halfway up. Don't get hung up on that. Just play it, even if it's a full step up, coming down. That goes by so quick. And then, again, the only reason I really was able to figure that out is the isolated guitar tracks and slowing it down. It's really hard to hear that part. And then 17 on D, pull off to 15, and then 17, pull off to 15. So far slowly in that second box. Then you're going to do a little double stop here. 17G, 18B. Bend up that G string half a step, back down, and then up a full step. Slide down. Let's play that second box a few times slowly. Then in the final box we play. So you got a little string scratch on A and D, followed by third fret of G, quarter step up twice. Second bend is slightly slower. Then on the D string, 5, pull off to 3, hammer to 5, vibrato, wide vibrato. All right, now we're going to tie all 3 boxes together and play section 8 one more time slowly and then at normal speed. Okay, now this is typically where people stop either the lesson or their performance, because the next part, we're going to call it section 9, is really hard to hear in the mix unless you really turn things up. Okay, so it's completely optional, but I'm going to show it to you because nobody else does. All right, let's get moving. All right, here's section 9. Okay, let's break this up into 2 boxes, and in the first we play. Okay, so now this is all on the G string. We're going to start by finger tapping on 10, pull off to 3, hammer to 7. And then tap on 10, pull off to 5, pull off to 3. Tap on 7, pull off to 5, pull off to 3. Let's play what we have so far. Now when I tap onto the 7th fret of G before pulling off to 5-3, it's quite possible that what Luke Luther did there was actually hammer onto 7, like, as opposed to, that would be like this for the first 9 notes, as opposed to, I just find it easier to tap. It's hard to tell, like, what if he tapped it or hammered onto it because, again, of the fade out. Either way, you should be fine. I just find it easier to tap that note. Okay? And then we're going to, again, tap on the 10 of G, pull off to 5, pull off to 3, and then 7, 5, 3. So far, slowly. Then we're going to tap back onto the 10th fret of the G string, pull off to 5, pull off to 3, but this time hammer back to 5. That little goes faster than the other little triplets we have in here. And then tap onto 7, pull off to 5, pull off to 3. Let's play that first box a few times slowly. Again, notice how the is quicker. Here's that second box slowly. You're getting into serious fade out territory here. If you don't get the phrasing down on this one right, don't sweat it. But again, I wanted to make sure you guys knew all the notes here. So we're going to tap on to 10 of G again, pull off to 5, pull off to 3. Then you're going to do 12, 5, 3, 14, 5, 3, 15, 5, 3, okay? 10, 12, 14, 15. Then you're going to tap on 17, little slight quarter step bend up, pull off to 5-3. And then 17, bend up a full step, pull off to 5-3. So far in that second box, slowly. Then we're going to tap onto 17th of G again. This time it's a slower bend up, 1.5 steps, pull off to 3. Half step up. And then on the D string, 5-3, 5-3. The 3s are half step up. And then 5 of G, bend up a full step. And that's the last note you can hear, okay? I cranked it. I took that isolated guitar, I turned up the track really loud, and that's where it stops. Most people won't even know it. You can just finger tap your way through this section, and again, most people won't know the difference. All right, let's play section 9 one more time, slowly and then at normal speed. All right, that was my lesson on how to play the outro guitar solo from the classic Toto song, Rosanna. If you found it helpful or informative, I would appreciate a thumbs up, and please hit that subscribe button to catch more content like this in the future. And if you have any questions or comments, leave those down below and I will attempt to answer them as time allows. Until next time, rock on.